you're a beginner, recreational player, or an old man coffee poker player like me, there's a good chance you've asked yourself this question at the poker table. How much should I bet? Half pot? 2/3 pot? Pot? The minimum? All in? And if we're being completely honest, a lot of us are just guessing. We look at our hand, look at the board, look at our chips, and then toss something out there that feels about right. But modern poker doesn't want us guessing. Modern Game Theory Optimal Strategy, or GTO, gives us a framework. And the good news is this: you don't need 17 different bet sizes. You don't need a solver open on your phone. You don't need to memorize every single spot. For most OMCs, beginners, and recreationals, we can simplify bet sizing down to 3 main sizes: tall, grande, and venti. Wait, sorry, forgot that I have a lot of OMC viewers. Small, medium, and large. And once you understand when to use each one, your bets start telling a better story. Your value hands make more money, and your bluffs start making a lot more sense. In this episode, we're going to simplify bet sizing for real-world poker players. Roll intro. Hi everyone, I'm Old Man Chris, and this is GTO for OMC. I'm bringing you along on my journey to learn game theory optimal concepts and to simplify them for players like us OMCs, beginners, recreationals, and anyone else who doesn't have 10 hours a week to study solver outputs. Let's incorporate these concepts into our game so we can crush cash games and run deep in tournaments. Today we're talking about one of the most important concepts in modern poker: bet sizing. Because bet sizing is not just about how much money you put in the pot. Bet sizing is communication. It tells a story, it applies pressure, and it creates mistakes. And when you get it wrong, you either leave value on the table or you light your chips on fire. So let's make this simple and talk about why bet sizing matters. Most old school players learned poker like this: if you have a big hand, bet big. If you have a weak hand, check. And if you're not sure, bet somewhere around half pot and hope for the best. Sound familiar? That's how a lot of us learned. And honestly, it worked better years ago because players were not thinking as deeply about ranges, board texture, blockers, fold equity, and capped ranges. But today, even at low stakes, players are getting better. They watch videos. They understand continuation bets. They know that a small bet doesn't always mean weakness, and they know that a big bet doesn't always mean strength. So if we want to modernize our game, we need to stop thinking, I have a good hand, so how much can I get? And start thinking, what am I trying to accomplish with this bet? That question changes everything. Before you bet, ask yourself, am I betting for value? Am I bluffing? Am I denying equity? Am I putting pressure on a capped range? Am I trying to keep worse hands in? Am I trying to force draws to pay? That is how modern players think. And once you know your goal, the sizing becomes much easier. For this video, I want to give you a very simple system. You only need 3 standard bet sizes: small, which is 25 to 33% pot, medium, 50 to 70% pot, and a big bet, 75% pot to an over bet. That's it. Small, medium, and big. Now, is poker more complicated than that? Of course. But if you're currently guessing, this system will immediately make you better. So let's walk through each one. So size number 1 is the small bet. It's one of the biggest changes in modern poker. Old school poker said, big hands want big bets. Modern poker says, sometimes your entire range wants to bet small. This is especially true on boards that strongly favor the pre-flop raiser. Let's use a simple example. You raise pre-flop from the button, the big blind calls, and the flop comes ace of spades, king of diamonds, 4 of clubs. This is a great board for you. Why? Because as the pre-flop raiser, you have all the premiums. If you recall in a previous episode, we talked about capped ranges. We can eliminate a lot of the premium hands from the villain's range because we would expect that they would 3-bet our initial raise. Now the big blind has some ace X and king X, sure, but they also have a lot of weak hands as well. Small pairs, suited connectors, random broadways, hands that completely missed. So this board favors your range. And when the board favors your range, you can bet small and often. You don't need to bet 75% pot. You don't need to blast off. A small bet of 25 to 33% gets the job done. Let's say the pot is 1,000, you bet 300. That small bet does 3 things. First, it gets value from worse hands. A weaker ace may call, a king may call, and a stubborn pocket pair may call 1 street. Second, it denies equity. If your opponent has queen jack, queen 10, jack 10, or a small pair, they may have some backdoor equity or live cards. Your small bet forces them to continue paying or fold. Third, it lets you bet with more of your range. Notice that I haven't told you what cards I have. That is purposeful. You should be playing your range and not your hand. Not only can you bet your strong hands and medium strength hands, you can bet hands that missed completely. This makes you harder to play against. This is one of the concepts that I struggled with, and I think it is particularly relevant to us OMCs who didn't grow up with GTO. We can make this small bet even when we whiffed the flop. Let's say we raised pre-flop with 8 of spades, 7 of spades, and the flop comes ace of clubs, king of diamonds, 4 of hearts. Old school thinking says, I missed, I have nothing, check. Modern poker says, this board crushes my range, I can bet small. That feels weird at first, but remember, your opponent doesn't know you have 8-7 of spades. They see your range, and remember all the premiums that our range contained? So this small bet puts pressure on their weak range. That is the power of range-based bet sizing. Here's your first OMC rule. On dry, high-card boards that favor the pre-flop raiser, bet small and often. Ace-King 4, Ace-Queen 3, King 7-2, Queen 8-3. These are boards where the pre-flop raiser can often use a small bet. Now, does this mean always bet? No. Poker is never always. But if you're looking for a simple starting point, this is one of the best. Let's move on to the medium bet. The medium bet is your practical workhorse bet. This is usually somewhere around 50% to 70% pot. This size is useful when the board is more connected, when there are draws available, or when you want value but also need protection. Let's look at an example. You raise pre-flop with ace of spades, queen of spades, the big blind calls, and the flop comes queen of hearts, 9 of hearts, 5 of clubs. You have top pair, top kicker. Good hand. But this board is not as dry as ace-king 4. There are flush draws, there are straight draws, there are hands like jack 10, 10-8, king jack, 2 hearts, 9-8, queen jack, queen 10. Your opponent can have plenty of hands with equity. If you bet too small, you give them a very comfortable price to continue. So this is a spot where a medium bet makes sense. The pot is 1,000, let's bet 600. Now worse queens can call, flush draws can call, straight draws can call, but they are not getting a free ride. You are charging them. This is what I would call value plus protection. You're not trying to blow them out of the pot, but you're also not letting them realize equity cheaply. That is a very important distinction. A lot of OMCs make one of 2 mistakes here. Mistake number 1, they bet too small because they're afraid of losing the customer. Mistake number 2, they bet too big because they're scared of the draw. Both can be wrong. The medium bet is often the sweet spot. It keeps worse hands in, but charges draws the right amount. So let's look at common medium bet spots. Use medium bets on boards like queen 9-5 with a flush draw, jack 8-4 with a flush draw, 10-9-3, king 10-6, ace jack 7 with 2 suits. These boards are not total disasters, but they are not completely dry either. So we size up a little bit. So let's talk about the second OMC rule. When the board has draws and your hand needs protection, use a medium bet. Not tiny, not panicked, medium. Now let's turn our focus towards the big bet. This is 75% of the pot, or sometimes even an overbet. Old school players love big bets when they have big hands. And sometimes that's correct. But modern poker uses big bets in very specific situations, usually when ranges are polarized. That means you are representing either a very strong hand or a bluff. Big bets are not usually for medium strength hands. This is a big leak. If you have one pair and you fire huge on a dangerous board, you may only get called by better hands and fold out worse hands. That's not good. Big bets are best when you have a nutted hand, you have a strong range advantage, your opponent's range is capped, or you have a bluff that blocks their strongest hands. Let's look at another example. You raise from the button, the big blind calls, the flop comes ace of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 2 of spades. You bet small, the big blind calls. The turn is the king of hearts. Now this is a very good card for your range. You have ace-king, aces, kings, ace-7 suited sometimes, ace-2 suited sometimes, strong ace-x. Your opponent has some ace-x too, but many of their hands are now uncomfortable. If they check to you, this can be a spot where you size up with your strongest hands and some bluffs. Why? Because your range contains more very strong hands. You are applying pressure. Another example, you have a set on a wet board. You raise pre-flop with 9 of spades, 9 of diamonds, and the flop comes 9 of hearts, 8 of hearts, seven of clubs. This board is dangerous. Your opponent can have straight draws, flush draws, pair plus draw hands. If you bet tiny, you invite disaster. This is a spot where a bigger bet makes sense. You have a huge hand, but the board is wet and you want to charge all that equity. If the pot is 1,000, bet 800, maybe even the whole pot. You want draws to pay. This is not the time for a cute little 25% pot bet. But be careful. A lot of OMCs use big bets emotionally. They bet big because they are scared. I don't want him to hit his flush. I don't want to get sucked out on. I want to end it now. That's not strategy, that's fear. And fear-based bet sizing is expensive. Before you bet big, ask, what worse hands call me? What better hands fold? If the answer is worse hands fold and better hands call, that big bet is probably bad. So let's talk about OMC rule number 3. Use big bets when you are polarized, very strong or bluffing with a good story. Not because you are scared, not because you want the hand to end, because the situation calls for pressure. Now here's the most important question in bet sizing. Who has the range advantage? If you've been watching my previous episodes, this comes up over and over again. If the board favors your range, you can bet smaller and more often. If the board favors your opponent's range, you should slow down. Let's compare two boards. You raise pre-flop from the button, the big blind calls, board number 1, king of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 2 of spades. Great board for you. You have all the big kings. You have overpairs. You have strong high card hands. Small bet often. Board number 2, 8 of spades, 7 of spades, 6 of diamonds. This board is very different. The big blind has a lot of hands here. 10-10, 10-9, sets, 2 pair, combo draws. This board smashes the caller. So even if you have a hand like ace of spades, king of clubs, you need to be very careful. This is not a great board to blindly c-bet small just because you raised pre-flop. Your range advantage is gone, so you check more often. That is modern poker. Same player, same pre-flop action, different board, different bet sizing strategy. Now let's quickly talk about how bet sizing changes by street. On the flop, small bets are very common because ranges are wide. There are still lots of hands in both players' ranges. Small bets can apply pressure efficiently. On the turn, bets usually get bigger. Why? Because ranges are narrower. The pot is bigger. Draws have less time to realize equity. And strong hands want to start building a pot. On the river, bets become the most polarized. You are usually betting for value or bluffing. There is no more equity denial because no more cards are coming. So river bets should be very clear. Am I getting called by worse or am I trying to fold out better? If you can't answer that, checking may be better. So here are the simple street rules. Flop, small bets happen often. Turn, size up when you have value or pressure. River, value or bluff. No guessing. Now let's run through some quick examples starting with a small bet. You raise from the button with queen of spades, jack of spades. The big blind calls and the flop comes king of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 2 of hearts. You missed. Old school says check. Modern poker says this is a good board for your range. You bet 30% pot. The villain folds. Great. You win with queen high. But even if they call, you still have backdoor possibilities and you are telling a believable story. This is a small bet doing its job. Now let's look at a medium bet example. You raise with ace queen of hearts and the big blind calls. The flop comes queen of clubs, 9 of clubs, 4 of diamonds. You bet 60% pot. Why? You have top pair, top kicker. There are straight draws and flush draws. You want value from worse queens and draws. You want protection. Medium bet. Finally, let's look at a big bet example. You raise with jack 10 of spades, the big blind calls, and the flop comes queen of spades, 9 of spades, 2 of diamonds. You have an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. The villain checks. You bet 75% pot. Why? You have massive equity. You can get folds, and even when called, you have plenty of outs. This is aggression with backup. You are not just hoping, you are applying pressure with equity. Now let's turn our attention to 5 of the most common mistakes. Leak number 1, betting based only on hand strength. Big hand equals big bet. Weak hand equals check. That makes you predictable. Leak number 2, betting big because you are afraid. Fear is not a bet sizing strategy. Leak number 3, giving draws too good of a price. If the board is wet, charge them. Leak number 4, not betting small enough on range advantage boards. You don't need to bomb ace-king 4. Small gets the job done. Leak number 5, using the same size all the time. Half pot every street might feel safe, but it leaves money on the table. So here's the simplified OMC bet sizing cheat sheet. Small bet 25 to 33%. Use on dry boards that favor your range. Medium bet 50% to 70%. Use when you want value and protection. Big bet 75% or more. Use when you are polarized, when the board is wet, or when you can apply maximum pressure. That's the whole system. Simple, practical, profitable. The goal is not to memorize every solver-approved size. The goal is to stop guessing. Before you bet, ask, what am I trying to accomplish? Does this board favor my range? Do I want worse hands to call? Do I need to deny equity? Am I applying pressure? And most importantly, does my bet tell a believable story? If your bet tells a story that makes sense, you are going to put opponents in tough spots. And when you put opponents in tough spots, they make mistakes. That is where the money comes from. So if you've watched my previous videos, I'm putting my money where my proverbial mouth is. I'm tracking my bankroll progress starting in January. And you know what? Not gonna lie, it's been tough going so far. I started 2026 with a $5,000 bankroll, and you can see here that I'm down a good bit. The series is coming up, and I'm going to compete in the senior tourney, and if I don't go deep, then I will look at another bracelet event and daily non-bracelet tournaments as well. So stay tuned for upcoming travel vlogs highlighting those trips. Bet sizing doesn't have to be complicated. Small, medium, big. These are directly related to range advantage, board texture, value, protection, pressure. That's enough to make a major improvement in your game. In future videos, we're going to keep simplifying modern poker concepts for real players, OMCs, beginners, and recreationals who want to improve without turning poker into a second job. If this helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What bet sizing spot gives you the most trouble? C bets, turn bets, river value bets, bluff sizing? Let me know in the comments and we'll tackle it together. I'm Old Man Chris. This is GTO for OMC. And remember, you don't need to bet bigger, you need to bet smarter. I'll see you in the next one.